Have you ever stood in your kitchen in the morning, staring at your food and quietly wondered, is this helping my kidneys or slowly destroying them? Because here's the hard truth most people don't hear until it's too late. Kidney damage doesn't start with pain, it starts with silence. No warning signs, no alarms, just tiny daily habits, especially at breakfast, quietly pushing your kidneys closer to the edge. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and I've seen this pattern over and over again. People doing what they believe is healthy, yet their lab results keep getting worse. Creatinine creeping up, GFR slipping down, until one day their doctor says the words they never expected to hear. And by then the damage feels overwhelming. But here's what gives me hope and what I want you to hear right now. In many cases, the downward spiral doesn't begin with dinner or medication. It begins with the very first meal of the day. And when you change that first choice, everything else can start to change with it. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what most people get wrong about breakfast and kidney health, and more importantly, what to eat instead if you want to protect your kidneys, reduce strain, and give your body a real chance to heal. Let's start with the protein most people completely underestimate, yet it may be one of the safest choices your kidneys will ever receive: egg whites. I remember a patient who came to see me feeling exhausted every single day. He was eating protein at almost every meal, steak for dinner, protein shakes in the morning, yet his energy was low, his stomach felt heavy, and his kidney numbers were quietly slipping. When I asked what he thought protein was doing for his kidneys, he said, "Protein is protein, right?" And that belief is exactly where the problem begins. Here's the truth: most people never hear your kidneys don't struggle because you eat protein. They struggle because of how much waste that protein creates after digestion. And this is where egg whites quietly outperform almost everything else. Egg whites are nearly pure protein with minimal phosphorus and virtually no fat. That matters more than most people realize, because phosphorus is one of the hidden enemies of kidney health. When phosphorus intake stays high, especially in people with early or moderate CKD, the kidneys are forced to work harder just to keep blood levels stable. Over time, that extra strain adds up. From a biological standpoint, egg white protein has one of the highest biological values available, meaning your body absorbs and uses it efficiently instead of turning it into excess nitrogen waste. Less waste means less filtration pressure, and less pressure means your kidneys can finally breathe. Studies consistently show that lower phosphorus protein sources are associated with slower progression of kidney decline. Egg whites contain roughly half the phosphorus of whole eggs while still delivering essential amino acids your muscles, immune system, and metabolism depend on. For many patients, switching to egg whites alone leads to less bloating, better morning energy, and more stable lab results within weeks. But there's another reason egg whites matter, especially if you feel tired, even though you're eating enough. Egg whites support glutathione production, one of your body's most powerful natural detox systems. Glutathione helps neutralize oxidative stress, a major driver of kidney inflammation. When oxidative stress drops, inflammation follows, and kidney cells are better able to maintain their filtering function. Now, this doesn't mean you should fear the yolk forever. The problem isn't the egg, it's the ratio. For many kidney-sensitive individuals, the safest approach is one whole egg paired with 1 or 2 additional egg whites. That balance preserves nutrients like choline and vitamins while dramatically reducing phosphorus load. And here's the mistake I see. Far too often, people ruin egg whites by adding processed meats, heavy salt, or frying them in refined oils. Suddenly, a kidney-friendly protein becomes an inflammatory burden. The solution is simple: boiled or gently cooked egg whites, minimal seasoning, and no hidden sodium bombs. So if you've been eating protein but still feel sluggish, bloated, or frustrated by your lab results, the issue may not be how much protein you eat, but which protein you choose. Egg whites don't shout for attention. They don't look impressive on a plate. But for your kidneys, they quietly do exactly what's needed: provide nourishment without punishment. But knowing about egg whites alone isn't enough, because there's another protein source many people trust that can either protect your kidneys or accelerate damage, depending on how you choose it. After understanding why egg whites reduce waste and pressure on your kidneys, The next question becomes unavoidable. What happens when you want variety, real meals, and still need protein your kidneys can actually tolerate? This is where whitefish enters the picture and why it's often misunderstood. I've met countless patients who say I eat fish all the time, so my kidneys should be fine. But when we look closer, it's usually salmon drenched in sauce, fried fish, or heavily processed seafood. The result, inflammation stays high, fluid retention worsens, and kidney markers barely move. The problem isn't fish itself, it's choosing the wrong kind. White fish like cod, halibut, and tilapia are fundamentally different from fatty or processed seafood. They are lean low in phosphorus, low in potassium, and remarkably easy for the kidneys to process. That combination matters because your kidneys don't just filter waste, they also respond to inflammation. And chronic inflammation is one of the fastest ways kidney function quietly declines. From a physiological standpoint, whitefish provides high-quality protein without overwhelming the kidneys with excess metabolic byproducts. Compared to red meat, whitefish generates significantly less nitrogenous waste, meaning less work for damaged nephrons. For people with early to moderate CKD, that difference can be the line between stability and gradual decline. There's also an anti-inflammatory advantage most people overlook. Whitefish contains selenium and natural omega-3s in modest kidney-safe amounts. Selenium supports antioxidant enzymes that protect kidney cells from oxidative stress, while omega-3s help calm inflammatory signaling pathways that otherwise accelerate fibrosis in kidney tissue. Lower inflammation often translates into better blood pressure control, reduced swelling, and more stable GFR over time. One patient stands out in my mind. She had already cut back on red meat but replaced it with plant proteins that left her bloated and fatigued. When she introduced whitefish 3 times a week, simply baked lightly, seasoned, her energy improved first. Then her labs followed. Creatinine stabilized. Inflammation markers dropped. And for the first time in years, she felt like her body wasn't fighting itself after every meal. But preparation matters just as much as the protein source. Frying whitefish in refined oils, drowning it in sodium-heavy marinades, or pairing it with ultra-processed sides can undo its benefits. The kidney-friendly approach is simple: bake, steamed, or lightly pan-cooked with minimal salt. Lemon herbs and gentle spices add flavor without adding burden. Portion size is another critical detail. For most kidney-sensitive individuals, a serving about the size of your palm provides enough protein to support muscle and metabolism without triggering excess filtration stress. More isn't better, better is better. What makes whitefish especially valuable is how it fits into real life. Unlike restrictive diets that feel punishing, whitefish allows people to enjoy satisfying meals while still protecting kidney function. And when patients feel satisfied, they're far more likely to stay consistent, something no supplement can replace. So if egg whites are the quiet foundation of kidney-safe protein, whitefish is the bridge connecting nutrition enjoyment and long-term sustainability. It feeds your body without forcing your kidneys into overdrive, and it lowers inflammation at the same time. But understanding which fish to eat still isn't enough, because there's another protein many people rely on daily that looks harmless on the surface, yet can become dangerous if handled the wrong way. After egg whites laid the foundation, and whitefish showed us how protein can be both nourishing and gentle, there's one protein many people rely on almost every day, especially when they're trying to eat healthy, and that protein is chicken breast. But here's the uncomfortable truth for your kidneys. Chicken can be either a powerful ally or a silent threat, depending on one critical detail most people get wrong. I often hear patients say, "I only eat chicken now, so I should be safe." Yet their labs tell a different story. Creatinine inches upward, fatigue lingers, and frustration sets in. The problem isn't chicken itself, it's how it's consumed and how much stress it creates after digestion. Skinless chicken breast stands out because it delivers high-quality protein with significantly less fat and phosphorus than many other animal proteins. When the skin is removed, saturated fat drops sharply, which matters because excess fat promotes inflammation and insulin resistance, both of which indirectly strain kidney function. Lower inflammation means better blood flow to the kidneys and less damage over time. From a metabolic perspective, chicken breast provides essential amino acids that help preserve muscle mass. That's crucial, especially for people with kidney disease, because muscle loss is strongly associated with poorer outcomes and lower quality of life. At the same time, chicken breast is rich in B vitamins, particularly B6 and niacin, which support energy metabolism and reduce the fatigue many kidney patients feel even when they're eating enough calories. But here's where science meets reality. Chicken breast still produces nitrogen waste when broken down. If portions are too large or meals are too frequent, that waste accumulates and the kidneys pay the price. Research consistently shows that moderate protein intake, not high protein, is associated with slower kidney decline in vulnerable individuals. This is why portion control isn't optional, it's protective. I recall a patient who switched from red meat to chicken, but doubled his portion size because he believed chicken was lighter. Within months, his lab values worsened. When we reduced his portion to a palm-sized serving and adjusted cooking methods, the trend reversed. His energy improved first, then his kidney numbers stabilized. Same food. Completely different outcome. Preparation is another overlooked factor. Grilled chicken drowned in salty marinades, processed seasoning blends, or sugary sauces turns a kidney-friendly protein into an inflammatory load. Sodium retention increases blood pressure. Blood pressure damages delicate kidney filters. The safest approach is simple baked boiled or gently pan-cooked chicken breast with minimal salt and natural herbs. For most people with kidney sensitivity, consuming skinless chicken breast 2 to 3 times per week paired with vegetables low in potassium is enough to support strength without overwhelming filtration capacity. More frequent intake doesn't equal better results. Balance does. What makes chicken breast uniquely valuable is familiarity. It's accessible, affordable, and socially easy to maintain. When patients don't feel restricted, they're more likely to stay consistent. And consistency, not perfection, is what protects kidney function long-term. So if egg whites reduce waste and white fish calms inflammation, skinless chicken breast plays a different role. It preserves strength. It supports energy. And when handled correctly, it does so without pushing your kidneys beyond their limits. But understanding protein choices alone still isn't enough, because even the right foods can quietly sabotage your kidneys if one final factor is ignored, and that's where most people make their biggest mistake. If you're listening to this right now and feeling worried about your kidneys, I want you to hear something important. You are not powerless. Kidney health doesn't change overnight, but it does respond to the choices you make every single day. And those choices don't have to be extreme or complicated. Sometimes they start with something as simple as the protein you put on your plate. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is awareness. Choosing egg whites instead of heavier proteins, reaching for white fish that calms inflammation, or preparing skinless chicken breast. The right way, these small, consistent decisions can reduce strain on your kidneys and help your body work with you, not against you. If this information helped you even a little, do yourself a favor and save this video. You may not need it today, but one day you or someone you care about will. And by saving it, you give yourself a reliable reminder that protecting your kidneys is possible and that knowledge is one of your strongest tools. I also encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Every week we share clear, science-based medical insights designed to help you understand your body, protect your kidneys, and make confident decisions about your health without fear, confusion, or false promises. And most importantly, remember this: your kidneys are resilient. When you reduce inflammation, lower unnecessary stress, and nourish your body wisely, healing doesn't feel forced, it becomes natural. No matter where you are on your health journey, there is always a next step, and there is always hope. Take care of your kidneys. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.